October 22nd, 2020. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 219 of You Can Bet On That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet On That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So on the last episode, we talked a bit about pull tabs. They're kind of like lottery scratchers in that there are predetermined winners, only you don't scratch, you just kind of peel back a piece of paper and then like a slot machine line is revealed. So like if you get like 3 cherries or something like that, right, it's a winner. Well, Mike and I had mentioned that we saw them quite a bit at tribal casinos back when they could only offer Class 2 gaming, before they became these full-blown casinos, at least here in California.
Right.
And Tim Lawson had mentioned that he had seen them as a kid at restaurants, like behind the bar. Patrons could get these pull tabs and, play them. And we were thinking, well, I wonder how legal that is. Maybe that's not quite legal. Maybe it's for pennies. And so, the law enforcement kind of looks the other way. Well, we got a ton of feedback from listeners letting us know that there are quite a few states where pull tabs are perfectly legal. They're usually for small amounts. In some cases, it's a form of charitable gambling. In others, it's just a small way for properties to generate additional income, although certainly not as much as they would if they were a casino, or that's not their main source of income.
Right. They don't have a slot machine to make a ton of money. They just have these little pull tabs to make a little extra.
Right.
And it gives people something to do, I guess.
Yeah. So apparently there are quite a few states. I read somewhere up to 20 states in some ways. But we got most of the feedback from listeners in Minnesota. And in fact, Minnesota generates the most money in pull tab sales of any state. But we also heard from people in Washington State and Pennsylvania. So pull tabs are out there.
Yeah.
And they're legal. And the people that print them, they're not doing anything illegal because pull tabs are legal in some states. So I didn't realize it was as widespread as apparently
just because
we
don't have it here in California.
No, right. So we just didn't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks for everybody for getting back to us. So yeah, it's quite an industry. And, all you have to do is go online and search for pull tabs, which I probably should have done before we talked about it last time.
It's funny, though, because we haven't seen them in so long. I kind of thought they were an ancient thing. They weren't even in existence anymore.
Like it was some way to kind of get around not being able to have full-blown slot machines, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And now that almost every state has some kind of tribal gaming, I thought, well, pull tabs are gone.
Yeah.
But it turns out they're not. So I wonder if they have pull tabs in Utah.
No. Absolutely not. There is no form of gambling that is legal in Utah.
And what about Hawaii?
And Hawaii's the same way.
Okay.
Yeah, both of those are the 2 states where there's no gambling.
No gambling.
Right.
I knew there was no gambling. I just wondered if they'd have pull tabs as a charity type.
No.
Well, a charity type thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but yeah. Well, it's kind of like, I don't know if this is comparable, but do you ever go to like a school event, like a school sporting event or something?
Right.
And they'll have like a 50-50
drawing.
Right?
Right.
They sell these tickets.
They have them at the Padres game.
Yeah, right. And so half of it goes to charity and then half of it goes to the winner who gets drawn, right?
Right.
And those seem to be legal, right? It's a form of charity, but it's also a form of gambling with a 50% house edge.
For the person who wins,
yeah.
right? Yeah, the Padres have that. I usually buy one. I mean, and it's like you get 5 for $5 or something, but like 25 for $20.
Sure, yeah.
Something like that.
Right.
And so I usually buy them. And the person who wins, because, they put up on the scoreboard and it gets up to like $10,000 or something, right? And so the person who wins gets like $5,000, for your $20 or something. That's not bad.
So it's not exactly like pull tabs, because with pull tabs, there's a guaranteed amount of money that the charity or the bar or whatever is going to get from any group of these pull tabs, right? And so, but conceptually, it's kind of the same, right? It's like some of the money's going to charity, some of it's going to the winner, right?
I think those are great.
The
Seriously,
50-50s?
they should do it everywhere.
Yeah.
Because, if I'm not mistaken, at the Padres, the money goes to, pet things.
Okay, because Petco Park, and it goes to some kind of animal organization.
It goes to some kind of animal organization, you know, so it's a way for the organization to raise money. The people doing it, you're not forced to do it.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
so it's kind of fun. It's not like, oh, you're sitting there, give me $20.
Yeah.
You know, you do it if you want, and nobody complains. And then there's one person who goes home real happy, right?
Yeah.
So
that's the heart and soul of gambling, my friend.
Right. Typically, one person goes home real happy, and the rest of us are, you know, stopping and getting 40 rolled tacos, so we have, you know, diarrhea all night.
So that's pull tabs, everybody. It is kind of funny. More than once, the phrase dive bar came up when people were talking about where you can find pull tabs.
Right.
So go to your nearest dive bar. That might be where you actually are able to find them.
When you started to say the phrase and you started with the D in dive bar, I thought you were going to say diarrhea comes up a lot.
Well, that does come up a lot on this show for some reason. Not sure why. It has to do with late night drives home from the casino.
Right.
We got an email from listener Adam, who recently hit the all small tall on the craps table for $1 each. And he was pretty excited because he normally doesn't bet it at all. Right? It was a situation where he was rolling and the dealer was kind of pushed. Oh, you got to make the bet. You got to say, okay. You know, I'll go out on that. And he won.
And now he'll bet it forever.
Maybe. Well, this will be interesting because he has a couple of questions for us. Number one, have you ever been at a table where two shooters in a row won the ATS, all tall, small?
Yeah, I'll do you one better than that. We've been at a table where the same shooter has won it twice.
Yep, it has happened. So, yeah, was that at the D?
That was at the D.
Okay, yeah.
Where she made them all.
Yep.
And then you can't bet it until you've hit them all. And then it came
at the
down.
D, yeah, right.
Yeah, and then we rebet it, and she did it again.
Yeah, so it can happen, and it has happened to us. Yeah.
Right.
And then his second question, Mark, I know you are a fairly conservative bettor as well, but listening to the podcast, I get the sense that you sometimes bet the ATS. Do you always play it or only sometimes? And how much do you and Dr. Mike put on the bet? Let me answer first.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is a good answer.
So I do not make this bet.
You
did
have
it
never
once.
made that bet.
No, I did it once.
You did?
At the Link when we were playing with Michael Traeger.
Okay.
From Travel Zork, and I hit it.
Right.
It was just one side, the small or the tall. And so that was it. I said, I'm up for all small tall. I'm never playing it again. I'm going to be up for that bet for the rest of my life.
What'd you put, 555?
Oh, it might have been 111, 333. I don't even remember how much it was now, but
most
I did
of the
bet
time when Mark has a bet on it, it's because I made it for it.
Well, that's true.
That's you.
Okay,
you have had a lot of bets on it, but it's because I make it for you.
It's never come out of my rack.
Right.
That's true. That's true. So how much do you generally bet on it, Mike, depending on the table or the stakes or what?
When we first start at a table, I put $15.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But then I usually go up to quarters.
Okay.
But 25. I think once I did a 50, but most of the time 25 is my limit.
And I think that's why you complain about it. Because even though you like the bet,
it adds up a lot.
Like you're forced to do it.
Yeah,
you're saying, boy, it sure adds up. Well, you don't have to put that much out there, Mike. You're saying, I wish it were a fire bet where all I can bet is $10. Right?
It's like those pull tab police that make you buy pull tabs or 50-50 lottery things, you know? It's the same thing. They got the guy going around, look, you got to get on this. You got to get on it.
No, I'm not interested. So they put a sticker on your forehead, right? That indicates that you didn't buy it.
A big purple dot on your head.
Yeah, that's right. It's like a dauber from a bingo gallery, right? It's permanent ink.
Everyone's looking. He didn't bet. He didn't bet the all tall small.
But yeah, so I'm never betting it again because I'm up for life. But yes, thank you, Dr. Mike. Every once in a while, you'll put money out on me if I'm the shooter, or if if we're winning.
Once at the D, I put some money on it when you were the shooter and you did hit them all.
Yeah, I think so. Well, those who follow us on Twitter and Facebook may have seen a picture that we posted here this last week. At the craps tables at Harrah, Southern California, they now have these locations, these red lights for a progressive bet. You've probably seen them at like Pai Gow tables or blackjack, it's usually like $1 maximum, and you have to put it inside this red circle that lights up when you make the bet.
Right.
And the dealer double checks and makes sure that all the locations that have $1 light up and the ones that don't light up. It's sort of a precautionary measure because it's some huge progressive they're going to give away. But it's at the craps table. They've installed them, but they haven't started offering the bet yet. And none of the employees know what it's going to be.
Right. Well, we do have some information on that.
Okay.
I figured, and I think I'm 100% correct on this, it's going to be a bet with a super high house edge that's going to drain all of my money through the night. I'm going to be down because I bet on that bet. And then I'm going to go home with my tail between my legs and crying all the way and stopping and getting like 40 rolled tacos.
Okay.
Am I correct?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And once again, the diarrhea reference. Yeah.
Right. But we asked one of the head guys there who is high up in the management, and he said that the craps was going to be something like you had to hit all 6 numbers like on the fire, but you couldn't repeat any.
No, there's no way.
Well,
he's
I'm
wrong.
just telling you what he
I know,
said.
but I'm sure he's wrong because it's a progressive bet. It's not the kind of bet that everybody at the table would win, right? It's generally when you have those red lighted areas there, those circles, only one person wins. It's a small bet, like $1.
Right.
And only one person wins. It wouldn't be for the whole table.
Right, I know, but this is what he said.
All right.
And he also said that at roulette, it would be if the same number came up 4 times in a row. And he also said that on blackjack, if the dealer had ace-jack suited and the player had ace-jack suited, they would win the progressive.
All right.
Now, in that case, it would be one person, right?
Yeah, right.
But, well, maybe it could be 2, right? Because if it's a multi-shoe deck.
I don't know, but I'm glad you brought that up because they have added these little circles to the roulette table as well.
Right. And to the blackjack tables.
And so now people are speculating, well, is it like a casino-wide progressive? Like cross game?
Well, see, now I don't think, we'll see when it
wouldn't
comes
be
out.
Independent, like only the craps tables have a progressive and only the roulette tables have a progressive.
No, there's just money that goes into progressive, and if
there are
any
different ways
table
to
hits
win.
it, if any table hits it, so let's say it hits on the craps table.
Yeah, okay.
Then whoever had a bet on that craps table would share the progressive.
Oh, I see.
And the roulette and the blackjack people, they don't get anything.
Okay.
But if it hit on roulette, whoever was on that one roulette table would share the progressive.
Okay, but it's one pool of money.
One pool of money. And he said that it was going to be like you put a certain amount out, and a certain amount goes to the progressive, certain amount goes to the casino, certain amount goes to the person who came up with the idea, whoever has the patent.
Yeah.
And so that's why each table out there, have you noticed, has like a computer screen.
Oh, yeah, there's like a big display,
Right.
that looks kind of like a computer monitor
Right.
that doesn't have anything on it right now, right? It's not lit up or anything.
But it'll probably at the top have what the total for the progressive is.
Right.
And then below it have which spot bet what.
Well, we're just speculating, and probably by the next show we're going to know.
Yeah, they said it was going to start the end of this month.
Yeah.
So like Halloween.
Right.
But who knows?
Yeah. Well, it's fun to speculate. Hopefully, seriously, I'm very skeptical of everything that I've heard. One thing, too, if you see the picture, it's right next to the C&E circles on the table. And so some people, even one of the dealers, had speculated that it's related to C&E. I think that's just a coincidence. I don't think that doesn't make sense to me.
That was just a place to put them.
It's a place to put them.
Because they still have C&E, and the dealers hate it because when I bet a C and an E, they're different amounts. They can't just set it on C&E. They have to put it in the center, one on 11 and then one on any craps.
And, I wonder how you're going to get your bet in there, Mike. And the only reason I say this is because they're very particular about you touching your fire bet right by you before they move it up to the central location, right? Well, here, all those circles are in the middle of their table. There's no way players are going to be putting those bets there.
Oh, no, you can't reach them.
Right.
I mean, the people on the end couldn't even reach them.
I mean, you throw it in and they put it there for you. It seems, they're so particular about the fire bet. Wouldn't they be particular here? All right, speculation is fun, but I know you could go round and round for hours on that, but hopefully we'll know by the next episode.
I hope seriously that nothing ever happens. that every month they just say, oh, we're working it out. It's going to be this month. And it's just there for like 6 months. And then one day we go and they've changed the felts and they're gone.
They're just back to the regular felts.
Yeah, we never could come up with anything.
That's the thing. We put the red circles out there to begin with, hoping that some employee could come up with a great idea. Nobody could.
See, that would be great, actually, because it's like something to entertain you during COVID.
What are the red circles? What are the red lighted circles?
It's all I can think about, Mark. I forget about like anything else. Any politics or COVID or anything. All I think about is, what is that going to be? What's that progressive going to be?
All right. Hopefully by the next episode. So San Manuel, a casino here in California, at least from our standpoint, seems to be like one of the casinos where they really take safety seriously when it comes to COVID.
It seems
a
very
lot
serious.
of procedures, a lot of cleaning, that kind of thing.
Right.
But now your brother tried to go up there recently. What happened?
This last weekend, he went up there and there were huge lines to get in. Huge lines. Now, they were having some kind of giveaway night or something. Mm-hmm. He's in a higher tier, but even he had to wait like a half hour.
Yeah. Wow.
And he said the lower tiers were well over an hour or more.
That's just to get into the casino.
That's to get in this casino.
Yeah.
He sent me a picture. He took a picture while he was in line of all the people just standing there waiting to get in. Yeah. And the sad thing is, you get in, my brother said, then he gets in and all the machines are taken.
Yeah, gosh.
So you're walking around just waiting for somebody to get up and abandon their machine so you can swoop in. So you can't even be particular about like what you want to play.
Yeah.
Right? You're just hoping for any machine in that case.
Gosh, I mean, it's kind of a throwback to when the casinos first started opening, right after the shutdown, where there were long lines to get in initially. Right. Now, not so much anymore. So many of the casinos are open now. But
they have a real strict policy, though. I mean, more than like Harrah's, they take your temperature. But at San Manuel, they actually ask you questions like,
and also,
have you been anywhere? Have you done any of this? Have you been around anybody? The whole questionnaire that I ask in my office, which takes some time too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you and I were talking about it. They no longer have craps at San Manuel, and
no reason to ever go there, Mark.
We love the property, we really did. But now, no craps, and we'd have to wait to get in, and it's not close.
For us, there's no reason to go. Plus, it's quite a long drive for us.
Oh yeah. Speaking of long drives, so every once in a while we will head up to the casino just to get free play. Depending on how much we're getting. Sometimes you'll go after work. Sometimes, I'll go in the middle of the day. But usually what I try to do when I have free play is I go early in the morning before my work starts. I've got the first thing I absolutely have to be back home for is a 9:30 Zoom meeting. And so what I do is I go up to the casino early. You can pick up your free play starting at 8 a.m. So I get up there by 8 a.m., get my free play, and then come home. And it's a drive. It takes me about an hour to get up there and, of course, an hour to get back. So, it's got to be worth my time. So every once in a while, it's a good dollar amount. It's worth it for me to go up there. Well, yesterday morning, that's what I did. I left the house around 7 a.m., and I'm getting close. It's almost 8 a.m. And Mike, I mean like a mile before the casino, there was some kind of accident or some kind of road thing. I was never able to see it other than I saw emergency vehicles and I was stuck in a backup.
Yeah, so probably an accident.
But probably. And there was an officer there who was making us turn around, U-turn, go back the way we came.
That's not a very wide road to U-turn either.
Well, luckily he was in a spot where there was kind of an area to do it, right? Uh-huh. So, and it was... people who know Harrah, Southern California, there's no other way into the casino there. I mean, I could go this way back way and come from the north.
You would have had to go all the way back to Valley Center. Mm-hmm. You would have had to go up Colgrade Road. Yep. You would have had to go by Palma Casino and circle back. Which would have been about another 40 minutes, maybe.
Probably, yeah, something like that.
Between 30 and 40 minutes.
Well, I mean, I've got this meeting. So I just drove home. Yep. So that was 2 hours. It was literally a mile away. It's that straightaway there. And so 2 hours down the drain. Oh, God. Got nothing out of it.
You have to admit, Mark, if we're going to sit here and go over all the times in your life that you've wasted 2 hours, it's going to be the longest episode in the history of podcasts.
Yeah, I think I might have wasted 2 hours a day in some way. Yeah.
I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it.
Well, I was thinking, Mike. Luckily, if if somebody was hurt, injured, or God forbid, died in that, I feel bad. But think about this: what if I had gotten to the casino, gotten my free play, and then the accident happened?
Well, you would have had to go the other way.
I would have had to go the other way.
You would have had no choice, and it would have taken you an extra half hour.
No, I would have missed the meeting. And the thing is, I run these meetings. It's not like you missed the meeting. I got to run these Zoom meetings.
Once again, Mark, if we sat down and went over all the times that you've wasted other people's time, we'll have the longest episode.
That'll be even a longer episode,
I was thinking today just about you telling me this story yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm working and I'm thinking, your free play seems to go up and mine always stays the same.
Yeah.
Very seldom has it gone up. A couple of times it's gone down for a month and then gone back up.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, what I think it is? When I go get my free play, I usually play it.
Okay.
And sometimes that's all I do.
Yeah.
And that might hurt my ADT so that my amount of free play each month might drop if I do that too much.
Possibly. I mean, that's definitely a possibility.
I was thinking that, and I was thinking, people, I hate to have to think about that.
Yeah.
Right?
I know,
what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I hate to have to think, should I play it? Should I not play it? Should I save it up and play it all at once or play it on a night when I'm going to play craps?
Yeah.
Because some nights I go after work and I just go in, I get my free play, and a lot of times I just play it.
Mm-hmm.
It's, $250. I play it and then I leave. And then I'm thinking, that's probably why mine...
It's possible because you do that a lot more than I do.
A lot more than you.
Yeah, usually I just get my free play and come back.
Right, and you save yours up to like a Friday and play it all at once.
On the other hand, it could be because I'm playing at a $50 table now with you a lot. And so now you're playing the same as you always have.
Right.
And I'm having to play a little higher than I normally do. So maybe I'm getting a better rating and thus getting better free play. I don't know.
That could be
That's
some
another
of it too.
option too. Yeah.
But I just wondered why mine never goes up.
Yeah, it is funny.
I plateau at this one
you
level.
You are plateaued right now, yeah.
And I've actually had other players there who are 7 stars and, they're there regulars. And they look at mine and they say, well, I get more than you. How do I get more than you? You bet way more than me.
Yeah, that could be.
And it could be that just I'm hurting my ADT. Yeah. So that's not going to affect most people because they're not probably going on a daily basis like us.
Yeah.
But for us, if you're going to go regularly to a casino, I really got to start thinking about that.
Yeah, you should. It's very possible. It's very possible.
I'm going to try. I'm going to do a couple months and try and hoard it and play it all at once or when I'm there and see if it makes a difference.
Okay, good. All right. This will be our test. It'll be
we'll report
definitive. On a recent podcast, you were suggesting that listeners come up with names for the Oklahoma ante.
Yeah,
right. In Oklahoma, you have to pay an ante when you're playing table games. And, it was like the awful ante. And, what are we going to call it? We did get some responses here. You want to hear some of these names?
Well, give me some good ones.
All right. Well, Todd Goddess said Little Orphan Ante.
Oh, I like that one.
Good play of words.
Kind of Oklahoma-ish.
Yeah, right. A little bit, right? Now, Nick from New Jersey, he provided us with a bunch of them, kind of all with the same theme. Okay, let's go home. Ugh, Auntie. And the okay for Oklahoma.
Okay, right.
Okay, Auntie, let's go home. Ugh, like you're with your aunt.
Yeah, Auntie spelled like an ant.
Right. Okay, let's go home. Ugh, Auntie. A lot of ughs in there. Anyway, he said because who wants to play at a casino where you have to pay an ante? You might as well just go home. Ugh. That's what he came up with. And then
I think I'd use a different word than ugh. That's
good for this podcast.
Yeah, for this podcast.
Adam Bauer said, Oklahoma, where the ante comes weeping down the plain. Great. Travel Fanboy got me to sing on the show. Congratulations.
It's probably he's an influencer, Mark.
Oh, that's
and
true.
You've been influenced.
Yeah. Steven said Oklahoma shanty.
Oh, I like that.
Kind of like a little thing. Yeah, shanty.
Shanty.
And then Jamie said up your ante.
Oh,
I think
nice.
that's pretty
Now,
up your ante.
So far, that's my favorite. Okay. Up your ante.
All right. I thought so too. That's why I saved that one for last.
Yeah.
So that might be the best one.
Up your ante. I think I'll use that at Harrah's.
Even though we don't have to pay an ante, just
I'll
say
just
it.
say up your ante. And
What'd you say, sir?
What?
I said up your ante. We're at a casino.
It seems appropriate.
All right. Anyway, thanks for all those suggestions, everybody. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's listen to some voicemails that we've gotten. First up is our friend Marie.
Hi, Dr. Mike and Mr. Mark. This is your friend Marie from London, Ontario, Canada. My husband Alan and I met you at Harrah's RingCon about 2 years ago when we were there celebrating our 35th wedding anniversary. I just wanted to give you a trip report on the reopening of Caesars Windsor in Ontario. They just reopened today, October 8th, after being closed for about 7 months. Caesars Windsor is in Ontario, which went into stage 3 in July. However, no casinos were able to open at that time. The casino fought for some considerations and then announced it would be opening to 50 invited guests for about a 4-hour time slot between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2. Now, Caesars Windsor typically holds 10,000 people and employs 2,000, and there was about 200 workers that were called back to serve just 50 people. The hotel was closed, no restaurants or takeout food or buffets were open, and there was no beverage service or self-serve area. However, there was one bar that was open at Cosmos for complimentary coffee, tea, and soft drinks. My husband Alan and I decided to go the first day and the first time slot thinking it would be the cleanest and the safest time to go. All guests and staff had to wear masks. The slot machines were all socially distanced with machines turned off, and their chairs were covered along with plexiglass in between, and it was extremely clean. The casino, however, felt like a ghost town. There was about a 30-foot radius around me with no one. The machines also needed a lot of troubleshooting. I had to call a technician at 3 different times. The paper vouchers just were not coming out. It seemed that the paper had been sitting in the machines for so long that they had become soft and would not print properly. I also had another issue. I put a $50 bill in, but it was not registering, and I couldn't cash out. It took 5 people and a half an hour to rectify. The technician even told me that since he had not worked there in about 7 months, he forgot how to do things. I found that very strange. It was not exciting at all. It was just too quiet, no one to talk to, nowhere to go for a break, no perks or free play. I was really looking forward to the reopening, but it was not fun and very disappointing. I'm hoping this will get better in time when more things can be open, but for now, we'll just be concentrating on our newborn grand twins for our excitement. I just wanted to add that we normally listen to your podcast during our 2-hour drive to the casino, and we were very sorry to hear about Dr. Mike's mom, and I'm glad you're back now and that all is well. Alan and I are sending you a second invitation to come visit us in Caesars Windsor, Canada.
And she got cut off there. Well, congratulations on the grandkids.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's great. And we definitely want to go to Caesars Windsor at some point.
I'd love to go.
Although it sounds like right now is not the best time. Gosh,
Right.
that's a shame that it was such a bad experience. I can kind of understand, though, if it sounds like they're really taking safety seriously.
Right.
And unfortunately,
Which is good.
yeah, sure. Unfortunately, though, it takes a lot of the excitement out of actually going. And gosh, the slot machine problems.
That's one of the things, Mark, that I've noticed the most. And we've mostly been to RingCon, but it's just not as exciting because, number one, there's fewer people in the casino. And number two, on your individual table, there's fewer people.
Yeah.
So it's harder to get, rowdy. And at RingCon, you have to wait in line at the bar to get a drink.
Yeah.
So I think some people aren't probably getting drinks as much. So there's not as much, they're not as happy. Let's put it that way. And so it does affect your experience a little bit.
Sure.
However, you and I seem to create our own form of excitement around our table.
Yeah, you're particularly good at doing that. Yeah.
When something happens the other night, I can't remember. It was just like we made one number and you and I both, woo, we're screaming and screaming. screaming, and everyone runs over and looking, and nothing had happened.
Yeah, we made a point of 6 maybe or something. I don't know.
Nothing had happened at all, and we're just like, oh, we just made a 6. People are like all disappointed, and we're just creating our own excitement.
You are right, though, Mike, especially at a craps table when there's a really hot shooter. More people come to the table, maybe even just to observe.
Right. They stand behind and watch.
And you can't even do that now, right?
No.
So, yeah.
They actually at Harrah's chase people off. When when someone stands there, sir, you can't stand. You know? I mean, you got to back up.
I like chase people off. That paints quite an image there. I don't know that that's exactly what they're doing, but
the shotgun comes out.
Move along.
Move along. Gosh, go wash your hands.
Yeah, hope, it's...
it will, Marie, eventually get back to normal. And we should do it.
I know.
We take our wives, we'll go to Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls and Caesar's Windsor, they're nowhere near each other.
Well, it's still a trip, and, we just make a few stops.
All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, it's Bert from Virginia again. Just want to give you a quick trip report from my trip. My spouse and I took to Rocky Gap Casino up in Western Maryland near the Pennsylvania line. Small casino up in a resort, has a golf course next to a state park. They only had one craps table there, but it was only a $10 table, so I bought a pretty significant bankroll to give it a shot. But it brings up a question for you. It was terrible for me, but the bounciness of this table, I've never had so many rolls bounce off the table as I've at this table, and other shooters had the same issue. If you guys experienced a lot of the bounciness of tables affecting the rolls, it was nuts. I mean, I had no luck. Up and down, mostly down. Finished pretty much losing my whole bankroll over a 2.5-day weekend there, but just want to get you guys' opinion on the bounciness of tables. That's something the casinos do on purpose or just sort of an anomaly. Just curious. Glad that Dr. Mike's mom is doing well. Glad you guys are back on the air and look forward to hearing more. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Bert.
Thanks.
Yeah, so different craps tables are made with different material, and some of them turn out to be, bouncier than others. Now, as far as it affecting the rolls, 7's coming up versus other numbers, no, there's no effect. If there were, good players would be able to take advantage of it. If more 7s were coming up or whatever, maybe you play the don't or whatever. Do casinos do it on purpose? No, because they don't want dice to go off the table.
Well, it's lost money.
Yeah, it slows the game down.
Right.
So,
it's lost money for them.
But, maybe they just went with a manufacturer where, whatever surface they're using kind of underneath the felt makes it a little more bouncy. So, yeah, it's not something a casino does on purpose, and it should not affect your bottom line in the long run, but it can be frustrating if you keep, throwing them off the table.
I think it has something to do, I've always thought this, and I don't know if this is true, but I think it has something to do with how often they have to change the felts. So if they put more padding underneath a felt, it probably doesn't get torn up as much as if there's a thin padding, when the dice hit the felt. It probably wears better if there's more padding underneath.
And it's also going to have to do with the length of the table, what people are used to.
Right.
If you're used to a certain length of table, and then suddenly you're in a situation where you're just not used to that length, you may be throwing them off the table more anyway. And if that padding is really bouncy, then it may be even more than you think. So
how about this? When we get a casino, the walls of the craps table will be like 3 feet high.
Ah, okay.
Okay. And then there'll be a glass part in the middle that you look through.
Okay.
And then 2 things you put your hands in to manipulate your bets.
Oh, yeah, like in a lab where you're working with viruses and stuff.
And there'll be gloves there. You put your hands in the gloves. Then the chips and everything, when you touch them, you don't actually touch them with your hand.
Yeah.
So it'll be COVID-proof. You can't bounce them off because this big, huge
It'll hit
wall.
there, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think you need to contact a patent attorney.
Yes, immediately.
Yeah, it's a great idea. All right, next up is our buddy Reverend Dave.
Hey, Mark, Dr. Mike, how you doing? This is the You Can Bet on That Poker Champion, Reverend Dave from Northern New Jersey. I just wanted to say once again, thanks for the game. It was a blast, and thanks for the prizes. And I just listened to the recent podcast, and I really hope you don't wait all the way till March till you have another one, because it was a lot of fun. Although, of course, I'd be happy to hang on to my championship for as long as possible, so whatever you decide is good by me. It's good to hear Dr. Mike's mom's doing okay, And good to hear that Dr. Mike's dad's primary concern was getting in and getting your free play. We need to hear some more Dr. Mike dad stories. Where's he been at? I mean, he used to be like fixture on the show, even though I don't think we actually ever heard his voice. We got to get Dr. Mike's dad back into the game. Anyway, love the show. Keep it coming. Love living vicariously through your stories, because I haven't been to Vegas almost a year now and haven't even been to any casino since March. And I don't have any plans of going anytime soon. So keep your stories coming. And hope to see you sometime, who knows, sometime next year. Hopefully early in the year, but I don't know. Love you guys. Bye.
Yeah, and, Dave,
Thanks,
just
Dave.
as you haven't been going to the casino, neither has your dad, Dr. Mike.
No.
And that's why we really haven't had a lot of stories recently.
No, this last year, he's in his mid-90s now, on the downside of the 90s coming up. Yeah, he just hasn't been getting out as much. He would love to go, but it's just not physically. It's a challenge, let's put it that way.
Yeah, a challenge, and maybe not all that wise under the current circumstances.
Under the current circumstances, not that wise. Yeah, even he recognizes that. And he said, I don't know, it'd be pretty risky for me.
Yeah.
So, but he's itching to go. He would love to go. He'd love to get on one of his machines.
I should just give you this little recorder here. Next time you're over at his house, just have him tell some stories, just casino stories. Well,
Mark, I don't know if we could play those on
Dr. Mike's dad's roundup. We just put it at the end of the episode.
There you go. I should have him go off on something. He'll find something that drives him crazy.
As for the poker tournament, we're still looking at March. I think it's going to still be March. Twice a year, I think that's going to be good. Yeah. So plan on the poker tournament twice a year. Next one,
Just as a side note here, Mark, when I was driving over here tonight to your house, they were interviewing on the radio a newspaper reporter who follows the Aztec basketball.
Okay.
And I guess just today they had their first scrimmage where they played like 5-on-5.
Okay, San Diego State
Aztecs, their own, little scrimmage.
Right.
And it was the first time that they had an actual game. They've worked out and stuff, but the first time they've actually played 5-on-5 to practice since they were shut down for COVID.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, as we're driving here, I'm like, well, that was last March.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's almost basketball season again, right?
I know. We just didn't think we'd be in this spot for this long.
No, we made a full thing. And when I didn't even think it'd last through the NCAA tournament. I thought, they'll just reschedule it and play it in April or something. Yeah. And here they are back to practice, getting ready to start a season that ended abruptly.
Yeah, right. And I mean, hopefully it'll go forward. They're talking about end of November, I think, is when they're saying college basketball start up again. So,
right. Yeah. Well, which is like, a month away?
Yeah.
A little over a month away.
Yeah. And then hopefully the tournament this year.
Yeah. And hopefully the Aztecs will be somewhat good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's college basketball. People graduate, things change.
That dream is dead.
Yeah.
It died when the virus came out. Yeah. It's dead. All right, next call.
Well, hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Dan and Kathleen from Northern California, and we wanted to call in with our pandemic gaming solution and also a quick trip report. So first, here's Kathleen.
Hey, guys. Love your podcast. When the pandemic first started and our local casino closed down, every Friday night, Dan and I would clean off the dining room table and get our craps set up out. And we'd start playing, and we'd play as much as we wanted all weekend long. And then on Sunday night, we'd put it away again. We tried different strategies. We talked about different scenarios and how they might play out. One weekend, Dan even taught me how to deal, and I was trying to figure all that out. So all in all, we felt, we became better players, and we had a lot of fun. And, oh, yes, the very best part is that the bankroll was virtually unlimited. Hey, here's Dan with another story.
So last week, we went up to Seven Feathers Casino Resort, which is in Southern Oregon. We just went up for one night, and we really like going there because the dealers are knowledgeable and attentive. The game goes pretty fast, and they really make it fun. Actually, the whole resort staff are very great, and we like going there. Anyway, we got there and checked in, and we were told that our room was not ready. So we took our bags back out to the car and went right to the craps table. And the first shooter had kind of a mediocre roll, and then the dice went to Kathleen. The guy next to me asked me, now, does she roll the inside or the outside? And I said, she rolls hard ways. And boom, came out on a hard 6. The guy next to me says, I'm a believer. Well, Kathleen proceeded to roll a 5-point fire bet, and with repeats, actually rolled 9 points on that roll.
Nice.
And, of course, a lot of hard ways. Well, at one point, she turns to me and says, aren't you glad the room wasn't ready? Well, hey, you guys, again, love the podcast. Hope you and your family are doing well, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Outstanding.
Yeah, that's the perfect room not ready story.
Yep,
right?
exactly. And I love the playing on their dining room table. It sounded like that was a weekend thing.
Right.
Saturday and Sunday, and then they put it away, had to wait till the next Saturday to play again. But
Dan and
it's great.
Kathleen are leading a charmed life. They are leading a charmed life. I'll tell you what, there's nothing better than being at a craps table with your suitcase pushed underneath the table, knowing that, well, I didn't even wait till I got in the room. I'm just going to play some craps here.
Every roll, every 30 seconds, is it still there?
Yeah.
Is it there? Did somebody steal it yet? Is it there?
With your wad of cash stuffed in it,
That's
right?
right. Keep checking that. We've been there.
We've done that.
Oh, that's great. All right, last call.
Hey guys, it's Eamon here. I wanted to call on a casino update. My first trip to a casino since I was at Harrah in Southern California back in January. This past weekend, I was able to get to Rivers Schenectady. I had been calling them for the past few weeks and asking if the craps tables were open, but they just kept saying they were waiting on an answer from the state. So I was driving by on Saturday, and the allure was just a little too much, and I decided to stop in. When I got there were thermometer checks on the forehead, hand sanitizer, and hand wipes everywhere, so that was really good to see. All the table games had the clear plexiglass separating the players from the dealers and the players from each other. And as you'll probably see even in a picture, even at the bar, all the video poker tabletops were separated by plexiglass as well. But sure enough, when I got there, the craps tables were open, as well as the roulette. That was really nice to see. They were allowing 3 people per side, but the one table they had open was a $15 minimum, and it was packed, several people waiting. So I just went over and played a few hands of blackjack. I did end up in the positive for my very short visit. When I was leaving, though, they were setting up another craps table. I just didn't really have time. It was an unplanned stop. They were hand washing the chips behind the tables. So in the pit area, you'll see another picture of that. That was quite funny watching them with saucepans and like spaghetti strainers trying to clean chips. Pretty interesting technique, but it makes you feel better than, when you go to the grocery store and people touching your vegetables. Anyways, that's an update. Everything looked good, and I hope to visit again soon.
Yeah, a lot of this is probably just security theater, right?
Right.
It's we don't know for sure, but it seems like you're less likely to contract the COVID-19 from chips and cards and things like that. But yeah, I love this vision of. He actually sent some pictures, showing some of the kind of the things going on in the background. Right. That's great. You can see him just
in my head. It's like a gold mill where the water's flowing down a thing and you're panning in there.
Yeah.
Oh, look, a $25 chip! Yeah! That's what I see in my head. Is they're panning for the chips? What? 50-cent chip? How did that get in there?
All right. Hey, check out the latest episode of The Better Life. I was a guest on the show, and the idea is I'm going to be a guest every month, and Tim and I are going to talk about gambling in TV shows and movies. So this was my first time as a guest under this plan, and we talked mainly about an episode of The Office called Casino Night, where they have a charity casino night. And it's a pretty good episode. But the idea is once a month we're going to try to talk about maybe different shows, different movies, that kind of thing. Gambling that we see on TV and movies that we like, things that maybe don't make sense or that are wrong or that we do like. So anyway, check it out. The Better Life, of course, with Tim Lawson.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What game do you think is the most misrepresented in movies and television versus, other games?
I think it's poker only because poker is used so much more than other games.
Right. Poker's probably used the most. Craps is probably second.
No.
You think roulette?
I think it's blackjack.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Oh
yeah,
gosh, I
think
see
so.
a lot of craps in,
really craps.
They
I don't
like
know.
the excitement of a craps table in a movie.
I don't. I think it would be poker for sure.
Poker's
number
for
one.
sure number one.
Then maybe roulette or blackjack, right? Because roulette's real easy. Everybody knows roulette.
Everyone knows
I don't know.
roulette.
I think I'd put craps fourth.
Oh really?
But,
I
don't
thought
know.
it'd be second. Well, you're going to have to start keeping track.
All right, and we'll talk about it on the next episode.
Yeah,
but
keep track. But honestly, poker is sometimes so brutally mishandled.
Right. Yes. Agreed.
I mean, you see stuff and it's like, well, no, that's not even proper structure. I mean, that would not work.
Well, listen to the episode because I talk about some specific things that bother me about poker being represented in TV and movies. So
I've already heard those.
Yeah, you know what it's going to be. You know what it's going to be. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring PayPal donations. Justin, Robin from Anytime Gambling, Nathan, Brian Dancer, Brian and Sarah, and Josh. Thanks very much for those donations. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listing showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks at youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings and our list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonthat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonthat and on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonthat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We'd love getting your feedback. What do you got, Mike?
Well, Mark, for the next episode, I would like you to handicap the latest episodes of the British Bake Off, and I'd also like you to handicap The Amazing Race.
Oh, okay.
I think we should start taking bets on that. It'd be a proper thing to do during COVID.
All right.
Right? Because everyone's watching them.
The Great British Bake Off, right, which we are getting at the same time as people in
for the first time, we're
Britain,
getting it at the same time.
And The Amazing Race, even though it's like 2 years old,
right?
they're just airing it now.
They're just airing it now, right? It's actually good because it was filmed before COVID, so it seems like, I mean, I can't imagine how you would do that during COVID.
Oh, well, you wouldn't.
You couldn't.
You absolutely wouldn't. Well, they're having to postpone Survivor, the new season of Survivor, because of COVID, right? So, but this one has been in the can for a while.
So you can handicap those for us.
All right.
And
don't count on it.
Well, it's one of those things, we gotta have some excitement in our TV viewing. And I'm happy that the World Series is finally here.
Yeah.
Even though the Padres aren't in it.
Yeah.
And, and good luck to the Dodgers.
Good luck to the Dodgers?
Yeah, good luck to the
really?
Dodgers.
Why is that?
Well, we have friends who are Dodger fans.
Oh, because we live close to L.A.
And we live close to L.A. There's a lot of people we know who are big Dodger fans.
All right, whatever.
So, but Tampa Bay's a good team. And it should be a good series.
Hopefully, yeah. So far, it's been a good series. The thing about Tampa Bay, they don't have as much money as, say, the Dodgers, right? I think they're like number 3 from the bottom as far as what they're spending. Yeah.
Right.
So
they're not a big money team.
Yeah. So that's kind of nice too.
Yeah. So it's the big money versus the little money.
That could, yeah. I always, when I'm watching a series where I really don't have an interest in either team necessarily.
Right.
I kind of just wait and see how I feel as the series goes on.
Right.
Or even within a game.
Right.
I may change sides depending on what I see happen or what I want to happen.
Well, and if somebody does something, kind of gets under your skin, like Corey Seager hits a home run and admires it the whole time for like 10 minutes, then you might be like, okay.
Yeah, right. You switch. Yeah. And hey, anybody who does go to the Circa opening, let us know how that is too.
Yeah.
We're going to try to watch feeds. I think some people are going to be streaming, live. We're going to try to watch that as much as we can. But let us know what your impressions are of Circa. We're definitely interested.
And I don't know if you're interested in going to the gift wrap up, but I still kind of plan to go.
With your whole family?
With my whole family.
Okay.
And my daughters actually brought it up the other day. They
Really?
said, Dad, are we going to go this December? Because they've gone the last few years.
Yeah.
And they want to go just to get out of the house
Yeah.
and have a weekend away.
All right. I'll check with Sherry and see.
Yeah, bring it up.
All
I
right.
mean,
I'll see. Yeah. Well,
Seriously, because they're going to go, and my daughters, they like to go through the mall at Caesar's
Sure, and all the
Palace,
different- yeah.
and stuff like that. And I said, well, I guess as long as they're wearing their masks and
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
and we're going to drive, so
Of
there's no
course.
airplane
Yeah, right.
thing to worry about.
All right.
So,
Well, stay tuned.
yeah, stay tuned. So we might make an early December trip.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
It is still very maybe.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Oh, sweet mother, I love you, Dr. Mike.